interesting predicament. How did this particular situation? I mean, obviously, I guess that's how this particular situation came up, was with this World League, and is that what's kind of happened because of this World League thing and not including the Pacific Islanders, as they usually don't get included? That's what's kind of forced their hand. Is that what you're trying to say here?
Yeah, very similar to that. I suppose JT could elaborate more on this. If we go back to the days of the NRL and Super League, they tried to get their big whole competition going back, was it in the mid to late 90s or early 2000s? It's very similar. It's typical of the Northern Hemisphere trying to incorporate something to make it bigger. I'm guessing there's a lot of ting-tings, a lot of putia behind all of this type of stuff, but that's the bottom line, mate. They're just trying to create a whole new comp.
Yeah. That's well, not just a whole new competition, but trying to generate more money. I'm not sure who the money is going for, but that's what I see as they're just trying to. Well, what do you reckon? I think they're just trying to generate a whole bunch of money for who knows what for. What do you reckon, Reno?
Yeah, it is money driven, I would guess, but I suppose trying to expand it, but mate, it's going to cost a lot. It's going to cost a fortune. Yes. I don't know what's JT's Facado on this, bro.
I just don't like how they've used the word league, mate. It confuses everyone. League is rugby league. And,
right, yes.
And I think, once again, the arrogance of rugby union administrators, particularly the ones from the Northern Hemisphere, knows no bounds. And here they are trying to run roughshod over our poor Polynesian brothers and sisters. And also, I think other unions too, like Canada, they're probably going to miss out on being involved in this, and they're doing some good work up there, I'd imagine, in terms of trying to grow rugby union. But look, I want to use a saying that one of my aunties, Adol Hamid, uses, and it's something along the lines of, if you're not at the table, if you haven't got a seat at the table, you're probably on the menu. And I think that's where the Pacific Island teams are. They're just being eaten up and basically raped and pillaged for their playing stocks and getting very little in return. In fact, I'd say nothing in return. So I've just read something while we've been off, while we were having a break, that the Polynesian boys from other sides around the world are being asked to boycott the World Cup. And so, yeah, look, mate, I just think it's disgraceful and absolutely disgusting, but not surprising given rugby union administrators and their history. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree.
But also, a good opportunity for rugby league to try and strike while the iron's hot. See if they can sway some of those people towards it. Because absolutely, mate, no doubt about it. The Fijians in particular are more suited to rugby league. They like getting the ball and running with it, and having a go. All that rucking and mauling, whatever else you call that rubbish, is just too technical. No disrespect, but look, that's why they're good at sevens, mate, because it's more open.
Yeah.
It's more free for a typical 15-a-side dirge, which is just, mate, bordering on. In my opinion, I'm sure Reno will back me up, but a lot of people will. They're just borders on boredom, absolute boredom, all those scrums and lineouts and scrums again, and what's happening now, they're kicking. So I'm sure the Fijians in particular would love to have a crack at rugby league, and the Tonga especially, they're going great guns at the moment. So yeah, there's a big middle finger to all those administrators out there. I'd like to see them come across and give rugby league a try.
I reckon it is the administrators just trying to, I don't know, bung up the works. What do you reckon, Reno?
Totally. It's that hierarchy up in that northern hemisphere. Look, you know what they're like. We know what they're like. Bloody old gits, and it's all about the money and how it all works. It's following money. It's all about money. It's money driven, and it's going to kill the Pacific game. We as a country here in Aotearoa have a lot of Polynesians playing the game of rugby through Super Rugby, through all the other levels. You look at the youth coming on through predominantly, and it's just massive. College rugby, it's huge. And we as a country, and I agree with the need to drive that and keep them in the game. If we don't, well, hey, like JT said, they can switch to league. Fiji Rugby League at the World Cup played really, really well. Most of the best you'll ever see. He is right. They are a running nation player. They just love it. And rugby's getting boring because all the more stop-start, the kick back and forth, and all these stupid rules now is turning people away from the game. And there's too much too, because here in our country, we give nearly every blooming weekend there's a rugby on, on the TV being televised. There's something going on. You just get oversaturated with it. So, and then when you bring this type of competition into it, you try and work out the costs and how much it's going to cost on sponsors net when you fly them back and forth to the northern and the back. Okay, you may get a few people turning up to the games, which will be good. I reckon profit margins will be great, but I don't think it's a good comp. I'm not for it. I'm like many of the others, and I support the Pacific Island brothers out there as well, because I want to see the Pacific game grow. Otherwise, so be it. Some of the teams like your Tonga, Fiji, maybe a bit of a rebuild in Samoa in the 13-man game, the Rugby League, might take dominance, and they should jump on this. So, yeah, I think it's a done concept. But obviously they must have sat around their table and had a corridor about it.
I think I know where the idea came from as well. I think that I know where the idea came from. Now, I am, I play a lot of games, I dare say, video games. And there was a particular game, I think it was definitely a rugby game. It was a rugby game, and that was part of if you made it to the internationals, I think I was playing New Zealand, obviously, that there was I think that might have been what it was called too, the World League, the Rugby World League. And because it's been a while since I've played this particular video game, but you played your team and you got to play, the Tri-Nations along with the Six Nations. So I think that might be where they came from. I'm not sure because I haven't played that game in I don't know, maybe 8-9 years. But
you're right though. You're right. You can do all that stuff. You can combine all competitions worldwide. Whether you go to the African competition or up to the Heineken competition up in the Northern Hemisphere, you're right. You can go through to the Japanese. You can combine the whole lot, and you kind of make your dream team up as well. I remember when Jonah came out with his game, everyone made a whole team of Jonah Lomu, who's 15, and he could beat everyone. Yeah. So, that whole concept from the gaming world, it sounds like 8 to 10 years later, Keithy, when you were playing,
but
maybe coming into reality as things do.
Yeah, and that was the tournament that they had. They had a particular World League where certain teams got to play each other twice, I think it was. If I remember correctly. It's just been such a while, I'd have to do some more research and try and remember and get back to you guys on that. But I think that might be where that particular idea came from. Now, I remember seeing something on social media. Now, I wasn't sure at the time what it was about, but I do remember reading somebody talking about, obviously, the Pacific Islands. They were talking about, I think it was either Samoa or Tonga. One guy in particular, not a Pacific Islander, by the way, one guy was saying that, the islands just can't look after themselves. You give them money and they go and waste it. And I didn't quite click on to what it was really about, but this is what I think this is about. One of the things is why they're trying to not include the Pacific Islanders could be possibly that particular reason is because of, obviously, like I said, money, isn't it? All seems to come down to money, Reno?
Well, everything does these days, mate. Everyone talks about money and power, money, and I hate hearing those comments when they talk about certain race. When they get money, they go and blow it.
Well,
when you're going gone through the recent week of what this country's gone through with one particular company, lost $36 million. A former prime minister who's now a dame, and got herself in the strike with Mainzeal. You don't get much of that media, but as soon as the old, and I'll say it, the brownies, they get involved with money and something hits the fan, bro, it gets exposed everywhere. I get hot with those kind of comments.
Yeah. Me too, because, whilst people do say that it does happen, but, when people fling money at you, that's what people do. They spend it. Sometimes the wrong people tend to spend it. It's hard to know, but yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens or what occurs from this whole thing at the end of the day there, Reno. It'll be a real interesting
it will be, yeah. I would guess, mate, it would be watch the space. I think now they're kind of going to try and save and turn it all around, save face, and make sure that these Pacific Island teams will be part of the World Cup because so much money is involved in Japan. Japan's got a huge money market over there as well, and that's the last thing they will want to do because the influx into the Japanese market predominantly there are a lot of Polynesian players that play over there. So this will be the last thing that the Japanese will want to hear, a possible boycott from the Pacific nations. That will be the last thing. So they'll fight this stupid proposal at the moment. I guarantee you, they'll throw everything at it because they want to celebrate the game of rugby, and they're trying to build it in Japan. It's a massive market up there, and for this news to come through, that would have got them with a bit of an uproar. And I'm hoping we don't see a boycott. I hope they squash this proposal, and they can revisit it sometime, but they've kind of come out in the wrong time of the year when it's the World Cup year.
I agree. Absolutely agree. What else is happening out there, Reno?
Yeah, well, I suppose for all the motorsport fans, mate, it doesn't get any bigger than the V8 Supercars. We're back into 2019 season. Good to have your sponsor on board with the show. Obviously, working down there with selling cars and everything. They were looking forward to the V8s going around Adelaide this weekend. They got into it yesterday. The launch of the new Ford Mustang for all the Ford fans out there. Scotty McLaughlin, the defending champion, just sneaking home over Jamie Whincup to get the provisional pole after second practice, and he's got their Muzzy pretty well all sorted. But it's coming down to the big names again. Penske Ford and DJ Ford up against Red Bull Holden, mate. So it's Whincup Van Gisbergen up against, of course, McLaughlin and Coulthard. And you've got a couple of other ones in amongst it. But, yeah, everyone's excited about it. So much come into it now, technology into V8 motorcars now, and, the ambience of the track, the temperatures, the weather pattern, it all comes to a major factor. The extra 100th of a second really can make a difference in the race. Yeah, it's the first one. It's exciting as we head into another season for motorsport fans on the V8 Supercars.
And, of course, we've got the North Island Sidecar Championships, which are happening tonight, I believe, down at, is it Eastland Group Raceway, I think they call it these days?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you got big meat down there, mate. Yeah. And I know a lot of you Gizzy fans are up there in Auckland and Waikaraka Park. The Gizzy Giants are going through with the teams racing. So good to see all them boys up there and ladies and their families supporting your Gizzy team. And yeah, that's good. Hey, also the New Zealand Golf Open down there in Queenstown got off and underway. Amateur player was leading only the other day. Ryan Fox, man, this guy's been living in a plane back and forth. Bugger all sleep, gets back out there on the green and just struggled a bit of jet lag, but that's what you get when you go back from New Zealand, Mexico, Perth, and come back in, you've got to play a tournament. It's hardcore. But good to see old Michael Jackson, the Titahi kid, back out. Michael Campbell, back out there, bro, playing. And yeah, no, it's cool, man. And it's here Bob Charles, and that's the New Zealand Golf Open.
True that. Also, well, it was an interesting thing, I suppose, was Matatini now, JT. I'm not sure if you were able to catch much of it over there in Aussie, but of course that took off down there in Wellington. Did you happen to catch any of it at all there, JT?
Yeah, I made a point of setting aside time. I looked at the timetable for when all the tied up the groups.
Yeah.
We were performing in Hikurangi Party half from up home from Rotoria. They were second group on day one. Yeah, I thought they got a pretty good performance. Whangara Maita Whiti, as always, were very polished. Waihitere as well. What's the other one? Te Manoa Mauri from Manatuki and Tefano Akai from out at Patatahi Way.
Yeah.
So yeah, our region very, very well represented. So through, of course, into the final round, and I thought Whangara, the haka, that one about Captain Cook, mate, that was an absolute legendary. And I think every person from the East Coast should learn that one. And when they do the backman of Captain Cook arriving, we should all get in there and do it. Because that's the real deal. Typical Derek Lardelli. Lots of good actions and certainly some very heartfelt kupu in that haka as well. Yeah, but congratulations to the winners, Tumanako from Auckland, from around Hawani Waititi Marae.
Yeah.
First time win for them, and mate, it's the World Cup of Kapa haka. And I must admit, I fell away from that sort of thing for a few years. When it gets pushed into you as a kid and you don't want to do stuff, I sort of turn my back on it. But now, as I've gotten a bit older and realised, it's the real deal in the business, and lots of effort and perspiration and blood, sweat and tears, no doubt, goes into getting those groups to where they are on that on the final day there, and also the ones that made that the 3 days prior. So Mate, yeah, Matatini looking forward to the next one. I actually said to Lois, the wife, I said maybe we should head home to the next one and